I'm a businessman, and my father is before me and his father before him, so third generation businessman. And at the age of 34, One Incredible isn't the first company I crashed. I've crashed a couple. And my grandfather, he passed away a couple of years ago, but I had one opportunity to meet him just like 2 years before he passed away, and he came here, and he was a rich man. Anybody here in the Middle East? From the Middle East? Okay. In the Middle East we have not stable economies, and in any country with not stable economies, if you own gold or land, you will die a rich man. And he started as a farmer and owned land. So just by owning the land, by the time he was an old man, he was a rich man. And he taught me my life's most important lesson, and that is that he told me, Ehsan, when you're as young as you are, before you get old, you will be rich a couple of times. You'll also be broke a couple of times. So don't ever let the size of your wallet determine who you are. And don't ever determine who somebody is by the size of their wallet. And this is the number one lesson. And the fuck up is, I should have figured that out. I was like 30. I should have figured that one out, but I didn't. Second picture, please, Leslie. This is a horrible picture, but it's also very, it speaks of our day and age. I found this picture while plowing through the Ask JP Morgan hashtag, and which was a horrible PR mistake by the JP Morgan people. But I chose it because it's important to realize there's a difference between making money and creating value. There's a big difference. Anybody have kids? You know that financially doesn't make sense, but it's one of the most valuable things in life. And you have to bring that with you in your business, into your entrepreneurship, into whatever it is you're doing. Some of my projects, some of my most profitable projects have been profit in every way except financially. One Incredible, for instance. One Incredible has two legs. One Incredible Media, that's my part, which I'm crashing. One Incredible Management, which my cousin runs, which is blossoming. Yeah, it's almost driving me broke a couple of times, but I've been broke before. I'm not afraid anymore. But the lessons I've learned while getting broke on this company, it's invaluable for me. It's different. It's very important to don't always measure value in monies. It's like monies come and go. You have to, when you do something, if the only thing you get out of it is money, you're not creating value. It's not worth doing. Your life is too short. Get out of it. And if something you're doing, sometimes these two lines don't line up. You don't get money and value. Never choose money over value. It's anybody that's from the Middle East that has been around currency that loses value so fast can tell you, don't choose money over value. It's a losing game. Can we have next slide, please? I was so nervous, I usually do this stuff and I'm not nervous about it, but today, for some reason, I was so nervous doing it until I saw Leslie do her talk, because... No, but it's like some of the points I made, you made, and then I knew, yes, I was right. And you said this, it's like, choose who you work with. I'm telling you, these two guys, they're not so happy with this guy right now. I don't speak Arabic, I can't read all of that, but it's like body language. It's not about what you do, it's about who you do it with. Choose your partners, your clients, and your suppliers, and your subcontractors, and don't work with brands that hurt your brand. I am hardcore capitalist. I used to do anything for money. It's like I learned late in life that you have to differentiate between value and money. So for instance, when at One Incredible, my CEO turned away business from a big poker site. And I was like, why? Just seeing the dollars, you know. And she turned away business from a big gun manufacturer. And I was like, why? But at the end of the day, I work for her, not the other way around. So something she's done right, you know. And we sat and we discussed it, you know. It's like, why? Why are you turning away all this business, you know? It's we're all breaking our backs to make the company grow. How can you turn your back on business? None of us are billionaires here, you know. None of us are fat, dumb, and happy to the point that we can afford to do this. So why are you doing this? And you come back to differentiating between money and value. Some brands don't help your brand. If you're into CSR work, JP Morgan is not good company, you know. You don't want your logo next to theirs. It will cost you more than it will give you. And that is very important. So choose who you work with and who you get involved with, because that will save you a lot of headache. And that's a fuck up I also should have learned earlier. Can we have next one? Yeah, this one. This is a feeling that goes through me about like 20 to 30 times a day. I've written, be humble and make sure to learn and grow. I used to be a very successful radio program host. I got headhunted, like Janus said. It's great for your ego if you ever get headhunted, you know. They come and they say all the right stuff, you know. Whatever they have to say, not to have to pay you as much, you know. I got in. I didn't have any experiences. Got in. Turned out I was good at it. I was a natural talent at talking. So I started Dingota 100,6, a local radio show, a radio channel here in Malmö, and it was youth radio, and they were supposed to shut it down after half a year. That was the plan, but it was so successful they couldn't. So it went to my head because I thought, you know, this is going to last forever. I'm becoming better and better and better at it. So it's never going to stop. But it was youth radio, and I got old. And go figure, young people don't want to listen to old people. Nothing you can do about it. So, and which put me in a really awkward situation because now I had the ego size of Cuba. My show is very successful, except in the target audience, which I'm supposed to be successful in. It's like they put me on air, everybody listens except young people. So my boss is not that happy. And we were 4 people that started working with that radio channel in the beginning. 7 years into it, 3 of them had permanent jobs with the Swedish radio broadcasting company. And I was let go. Because, yeah, because life, because you fuck up, because, you know, it's like you have to stay humble. You have to stay humble. And okay, every once in a while, you know, take your ego out for a spin, but then put it back. Because when you're not humble, you're sort of like just building up for a fuck up that's going to hurt really, really, really bad. So we got that one. I love this slide. This is also my reality, like 10 times a day. It's like anybody that's in any type of business recognize what this slide is representing. But I put it there because I want to make the point you made. Never give up. Your client comes with this. It's the same to whoever they go. They're not going to lower their expectations. Next guy isn't going to get more money out of them. Can you get the job done? Yes or no? You know, it's like you can't get up just because it seems impossible. So many times I've been sitting in a totally impossible situation, a totally impossible problem. And it is impossible until you figure it out. And then, like that, it changes, and it's not impossible anymore. So when you've been through that so many times, you have to stop trusting the feeling of impossible. That only means that I don't know better. never give up. It's like that's why one incredible won't die. Because yeah, my accountant said it's impossible. The tax authorities say it's impossible. My clients were like, oh man, don't even start. But my clients, I tell you about that later. But you don't give up, and that's that's the most important. The client I'm talking about is Swedish radio, because I'm back on the radio. Now I'm doing old people radio, and I'm awesome at it. So you can actually listen to me tomorrow night, Karlavagnen, and older people than me call in to talk about shit, and it's good, and it's the biggest radio show in Sweden. So I'm happy, and also I do it like 8 times a year. So we learned from each other, me and my client, that as long as we don't get too mixed up, it's like one of those relationships with the ex. It's like you broke up, it was nasty, but then a couple of years later you start missing each other, and then all of a sudden it's like you start seeing. It's one of those things. Next one, please. Never give up. When I put this slide together, because Leslie told me it's a bunch of students, and I figured a bunch of like 18 to 24-year-olds. Some of you are older than me here, But I tell you, I did this talk for a bunch of students, and when I was doing the research, it's like young people today, or people today, in the beginning of their career, regardless if we're young or not, have never had so many opportunities ever in the history of mankind. Never had so many opportunities. And that's intimidating. At the same time, you have to remember that 7 billion of us, the competition for anything has never been bigger in the history of mankind. So when you're put in that position, and to be honest, age doesn't have to. This is to symbolize the beginning of something. When you're put in that position, you have to remember that, yeah, everything is against you. You have all the opportunities in the world, but everything is against you. The only difference between the people that make it and the people that don't make it is the ones that didn't make it, they gave up before they made it. Because everybody crashes. Every single body crashes. Nobody rides like a rocket to the top and stays there without any friction. If they say they're lying, it's never happened throughout the history of mankind again. Can we have the next slide? Be humble. Make sure you learn and grow, because one day when you ran your own business into the ground, sort of, and your boss keeps hiring 20-something-year-olds, they come into the company. They work twice your tempo, put in twice your hours, because they don't have to pick up no kids from kindergarten. They learn everything you know much faster than you're learning what they know. And it's fucking intimidating, I tell you. And you're not supposed to start feeling old at 34. You're not. Especially not when people look, like, it's like my parents' generation are expected to live to like 80. My generation will probably be like 95, and half of my kids' generation are going to be over 100 years old. It's like 34 is nothing. But when you're surrounded by these 20-something-year-olds that come in and they're hungry and they're competent and they know this stuff, it's like, and they do these things with the computers, and you're like, it's like, we went to this Google AdWords certificate course, and it was horrible. Everybody was learning so fast, and I still haven't taken my certificate. All the rest of them got it. Even one of my friends, not so bright, he came with me, he got his. But then, all of a sudden, you get an email from the boss saying that the company won the Google All-Stars Award. And it dawns on you that you're a team. If what you want to do only requires one person to do it, you need to step up your ambitions. This is the truth. the time in human society where one man's ambition, the thing you can achieve by yourself was worth anything, that's long past. Anything we want to do today, if you want to do it, if you're serious about it, it has to be scalable to the point where more people than you are required to make it happen. And once you realize that it's a team. I play my part, and those 20-year-olds play their part. And if we do it right as a team, then the company wins the Google All-Stars award. And that shines on me as well as the 20-year-olds. So that's a very important fuck up to, like, don't be intimidated by other people's success. It doesn't take anything away from you. If you think it does, you're fucking up right there. So, can we have the next one? Let's see, which one is this number? I can't read what I've written. Yeah. Yeah, be humble, make sure you learn and grow, because, no, I took that one. Yeah, it's not about what you do, it's about who you do it with, again. It's what Leslie said, you know, it's, if you want to be an eagle, you can't play with doves. I heard a management consultant say that once, and he said a lot of bullshit, but this phrase, it was spot on. If you want to be an eagle, you can't play with doves. If you want to be a politician, you need to be surrounded by people that know politics, not people that know partying. If you want to be a DJ, people that know politics are no use to you. You know, it's different. And this lady right here, she's our creative designer. We won the Swedish Design Awards. And I had very little to do with the design, but I helped create the communication afterwards when we got nominated to land us the award. So again, with the team, and you know, surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. If your ambition is up here, make sure your team has the same level of ambition. The skill will follow. But if somebody doesn't have the ambition, they're not going to help you get to where you want to go if you have the ambition. And also, if you're fat, dumb, and happy and content, and you're working around people that are hungry, get the fuck out of the way. Not in a bad way, but because that is only going to stress you. If you have to, again, play your part. Where am I in life? Maybe I'm not supposed to be in a startup company in growth, going to this place. Maybe I'm supposed to be an accountant. you know, it's like, so again, make sure you're working with the right people, with professionals, as Leslie said. Second to last, there's a difference between making money and creating value. And I remember when I started One Incredible, I learned that I am the CEO of this company. I'm also the janitor of this company, the cleaning lady of this company. I am the company. You know, it's you gotta work. You gotta put in the hours. You gotta work hard. The thing I said, 7 billion people competition. One way of getting ahead of your competition is when the other guy is working 7 hours, you work 8. When the other guy is working 5 days, you work 6, and so on and so forth. And you gotta push yourself, but don't be an idiot about it. Because I fucked up real bad. A couple of times in my life, I have a hard time learning lessons sometimes. You work hard, you push yourself, you work really hard, and then you hit that wall. You know which wall I'm talking about? When you just break down. And when you break down, it hits you really, really fast that now you're no value to nobody. Not even to yourself. Worse, you're a burden. It's a horrible feeling. When I was younger, when I had One Incredible and didn't have a kid to support, and my company consisted of me and my buddy, my friend. When I got burnt out, I was a burden on him. Thank God his shoulders are wide, he can carry my weight, you know. But if I get burnt out now, my kid's 3, she can't carry my weight. I'm in a company. I'm not the captain of the yacht, but I'm on the boat. So if I burn out, it makes a great impact on my colleagues. You want to work hard, you work hard. But my dad taught me this, that if you're going to work 7 days a week, make sure you're having fun at work. Make sure you're enjoying that work. And make sure you keep a tempo so you can work 7 days a week for 20, 30, 40 years. Not just for the next 3 months and then you collapse. Because that's just being stupid, you know. Again, with the value, you know, you have to just not be an idiot about it, I guess. And lastly, my name, Ehsan Noroozi, my full name. Doesn't fit in Swedish tax papers. One of the beefs I have with the tax authorities. I'm third generation businessman. Like my grandfather, my father, that's me. And like him, and like myself, you know, he crashed some businesses. He used to be in the carpet business, brilliant until he crashed. He used to sell coal and be in the energy business, wonderful, till it crashed. Used to be in the plastic business. He was great until he crashed. Plastic business was still okay. He worked too hard, didn't enjoy it. Now he sells tea, works 7 days a week. Awesome, loves it. A couple of 5, 6 times a year, he calls me to say, look, I'm going away for some vacation. Maybe if I find some tea, I'll write it off as a tax write-off, you know. So he's having fun with it. But something we all learned in our different ways is that money is a measuring tool. It's like a ruler, it's like a belt. You measure stuff with it. That's the only value it has. You measure successful campaigns against unsuccessful campaigns. You measure growing businesses against dying businesses. But money is never the goal. Value is the goal. And we're living in a time where everything's changing. I saw this slide, it was beautiful, and also this Google presentation is like everybody's taking it up now, which reminds us that, like for instance, the world's biggest taxi company owns no cars. The world's biggest hotel, Airbnb, doesn't own any real estate. And the biggest media supplier in the world, Facebook, produces no media. The world's really, really, really changing. I took these lessons because these lessons have survived 3 generations, and I think they will survive 3 more generations at least. And when everything's changing around you, it's sometimes good to get back to well, what's the same, what doesn't change. And be sustainable in whatever you do. Don't get blinded by the money. Keep your eye on the value, and check the people you're working with so that they're pulling in the same direction as you. If you do these 3 things, you will be far ahead of me in no time. I promise you this. Thank you.